Hey, everybody, Madeleine here to look at the astrology for September of 2025. And boy, what a dramatic month ahead we have. Business will not be as usual as we have two eclipses. We have other transits too, but I think they're going to be dwarfed by these two big eclipses. We have Mercury moving into the sign of Virgo, which will really sharpen our minds. Will be in its exaltation in the sign of Mercury. And then we have Venus going out of Leo into the sign of Virgo, where it is more in debilitation. Well, I'll go into all 12 signs for these. And then we also have Mars moving into Scorpio. So, but I think those transits are not going to be as felt as loud as the eclipses are. We have the two eclipses. The first one is going to be in the sign of Pisces at 15 degrees 22 on the 7th of September. It is the exact same eclipse that we had on that day, same day, 2006. And then we have a second new moon lunar eclipse. The first one is a full moon solar eclipse. This is going to be a new moon solar, sorry, full moon lunar. This is new moon solar on the 21st of September in the sign of Virgo at 29 degrees. So I'm going to go into all the 12 signs for each of these transits, mostly focusing on the eclipses, of course. Now, let's go ahead and look at the first eclipse. I'm going to go ahead and share the chart. I'm outside by the lake enjoying a lovely day outside. I couldn't be inside. Now, this eclipse looks really nice. I don't know if the one in 2006 had the same blessings. I have to go back and look at it, but this promises to be quite a nice eclipse because Jupiter is ruling Pisces. And the North Node is right there, and Jupiter is trining the nodes. And this is like a very auspicious part of the sky. It's also a very spiritual part of the sky. Um, so when Jupiter is making such a favorable aspect to a lunation, it's basically showing us a higher elevated perspective because Jupiter wants to expand our life, wants us to expand our life into the direction of our Dharma, because when we walk our Dharma, we're serving humanity in the way that we were designed to serve humanity. So Jupiter is blessing this eclipse with clarity of purpose and a reinvigoration of faith in the path. And we're with the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo, we're clearing sort of our soul's debris, our mental debris that blocks us from our soul's knowing. And we're really following some sort of not such a clear path because the North Node and the sign of Pisces is also ruled by Neptune, which happens to be very close and also making a very positive aspect in this eclipse, which also blesses it. But this journey with the North Node in Pisces is aligning us with our true soul's essence and to walk a life where our soul's desire, where we're feeding and nurturing the soul, not the material. It is a big eclipse of releasing because the South Node being in Virgo and full moons are big revelations and show us what we need to let go of. So it can be really challenging sometimes. If it's a relationship that needs to be let go of, it can be very, very painful. But this month will be charged with intense energies and heightened emotions and sudden twists of fate and passions and power plays, because we do have Venus in Leo, so that kind of heightens the passionate energy of this month, of course. But the eclipse will so eclipses basically end things and bring things. Eclipses something out and invite something in new. Eclipses, you see, there's Jupiter in its exaltation, by the way, which is a really good blessing for this eclipse, which makes it extremely abundant. Honestly, the more you let go and flow during this eclipse, the less struggle, trust that it's going to take us somewhere really good. Because here is Jupiter making a beautiful angle to this eclipse. Look at that. It's trining the North Node in the moon. It's a full moon lunar eclipse with Jupiter trining it like a big light saying, this is your Dharma, this is the way to go, this is what you're made for, this will nurture your soul. Leave anything behind that isn't your authentic part of your authentic path and your authentic soul's purpose. So it can come with challenges, but these are really beautiful angles. So I'm going to say we're relieved to let these things go. We're relieved to end these chapters. We're relieved to release this noise in our life. So we're basically clearing a path that takes us in a direction that truly nourishes our soul more and puts us in our true dharmic destiny, because the two things coincide, of course. All right. So that is the first eclipse. I'm going to go into all 12 signs about that. And now let's look at how beautiful that kite goes to the eclipse. So here it is. We're at the tail of the eclipse. So basically, this is untangling that big knot because it's happening at the end degree point of Pisces, or shall we say, it's opposing Saturn at that end degree point, and it's even in the shape of a kite. And here we are with the kite on the material realm, because Virgo um, the Virgo Pisces axis is all about the spiritual versus the material, right? And the practical versus the impractical. So we're going to have this kite configuration blessing us as we let something major go that releases the kite, that releases us from our karmic entanglement. So this is like the final, shall we say, it wouldn't be final because we do have the South Node continuing in Virgo, but this being the eclipse there makes it a big release of something final because it's at 29 degrees. So it's really the end of something. So we're really wrapping an old pattern, an old cycle. Our day-to-day routines are going to completely change. Our health decisions or choices are going to change. We're going to make much more soulful aligned decisions that will improve our health. We're spiritually releasing ourselves from old paradigms and old thinkings and old thoughts, and we're changing them because we're at the end degree point and Saturn is there. So Saturn is telling us, look, we have to devote to something seriously. We have to put all our eggs in this basket and devote to it, and treat it like it's a long-term thing, because we have to align with something here that Saturn wants us to align with, but at the same time, we have to release whatever's not a part of that. And we've cleared our karmic behaviors that are causing these patterns. And so, it's like we're untangling ourselves from that karmic knot in order to begin something new that really takes us a whole new cycle, a whole new 29-year cycle. So we're really headed in a new direction here, obviously very big. Now, Jupiter again is making, and again, a very positive aspect to this eclipse. So I think these eclipses are very abundant and very auspicious for everybody. So I'm excited to go through all the 12 signs. All right. I will see you there. All right. All right, Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising. You guys are going to have these eclipses in your sixth and in your 12th house. The first eclipse is going to be in your sixth house in Pisces at 15, 22 degrees. So the sixth house is the house of health, service to others, health issues, hidden enemies, stressors. You may often in a sixth house eclipse, there can be conflicts in your workplace that disturbs your peace, causes stress in you. And this stress could sort of cause health issues to resurface, digestive, your nervous complaints can sort of show up, anxiety attacks can happen. Sorry, I don't mean to scare you. But anyway, you may face old habits, problems from old habits, problems of an old habit kind of surface. Like I say, a chronic health issue could show itself and be louder. But these and sort of any sort of day-to-day routine that is draining you and causing you sort of burnout, basically. But these eclipses don't come to make you suffer. They come to purify you. So whatever is going on in these sixth house and this eclipse for you, it is to release, and because we've got that south node there, so you're supposed to be letting it all go. You're supposed to be um I'm sorry, the south node is in the Virgo house. We have the north node there, but that south node in the 12th house in Virgo is finding a spiritual substitute or spiritual practice to offset the stress and to let go of the I would say the fragmentation of the stressor, because this stress is as a result of some form of lack of spirituality, maybe a lack of self-reflection or a lack of understanding your subconscious nature, because the 12th house is about our deep subconscious issues, that are sort of causing an overarching effect on our whole life. So you may face so these eclipses bring things to the surface. It's like I'm trying to clean my carpet, and every time I clean it, more dirt comes up. It's like an eclipse shows you the dirt underneath something, the debris of. And again, the sixth house is the house of being very busy, and it is the house of routine, coworkers, like I said, panic attacks, work service, being of high service. I mentioned daily routines, like I mentioned. But it is also the house of overcoming your victories, victory over the obstacle. And it shows you where you are weak and where your weakness lies so that you can rise above it. And then you become more disciplined. Um, and you start to sort of this improves your day-to-day routines, and your day-to-day routines always change when there's an eclipse in your sixth house. I had an eclipse in my sixth house, and I stopped working out in the world, and I ended up doing readings on Zoom in my house. So that was like a complete change in my day-to-day routine. So something shows up that really changes your day-to-day routine, because we had that new moon at the end of the month, or maybe a new idea, a new project, a new work venture, because the sixth house is a work house. So yeah, so this eclipse is basically wanting you to streamline your life, quiet the noise down in your life, de-stress, cut clutter, people that are causing clutter, or um, to sort of change your lifestyle. Basically, it's a lifestyle eclipse, and to become more spiritual, and to take time alone, because this Pisces energies is a sort of a solitude, introspective, reflective energy. You're going to have the second eclipse, plus you had that new moon in Virgo, but the second eclipse at the end of the month on the 21st is going to be in your 12th house, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute, which is where you really want to escape this stress in the sixth house and get away from everything and people and chatter, and be alone, and hear yourself, basically, and discover your soul. You can't hear what you want, because you're gonna we're all starting these big new chapters, and Libras are often in relationships and always with people. So this eclipse is probably the second eclipse is going to be sending you out into solitude. So this first eclipse is showing you where you have to change your life, basically, and overcome your weaknesses, and they become, they're blatant. They show themselves very clearly in these eclipses. But if you stay humble and disciplined, like I said, Saturn in retrograde is in your seventh house. So you are about to start a whole new 29-year cycle with some sort of a partnership, a marriage, um, and you're clearing some sort of bad habits here. And they could be addictions, showing up, basically, Pisces in the sixth North Node eclipse. Because when you get over this addiction, it's something that's preventing you from being able to be successful in something in your life that's very important coming, that's about to restart a new cycle, but you can't restart that cycle with these problems. So they're showing up right now so that you eliminate them and purify yourself and transform your struggles into stepping stones. So this eclipse is the cue to simplify your life and prioritize your well-being over chaos. So this is a great eclipse. This is wonderful. Now the second eclipse is happening in your 12th house. So, oh wait, there was a couple of other things I wanted to say about this sixth house eclipse. Yes, it's a time to clean up your life. You're cleaning up your life, and inside and out. And then you're focusing on silent service and letting go of perfectionism, or trying to sort of impress people. And then you've got to heal your gut, clear your schedule, remove distractions. So this eclipse is going to teach you Your true strength comes from being clear focused, and spiritually anchored in everyday life, in your day-to-day routine. There's a meditation in day-to-day routine and having a good routine. It's like you establish a new good routine, but also there's a flow of an internal connecting with yourself as to what that new routine is going to be right and flow in you, in your life. And that leads me to the second eclipse, which is in your 12th house, which will trigger karmic closures. You know, that is a karmic house, the 12th house. So, and it is opposing Saturn, which is about karma. And that Saturn is in your sixth house, by the way, clearing some sort of karmic pattern you have, perhaps an addiction, but some sort of uh, uh, karmic knot you need to untangle before these new beginnings are about to happen. And it could be around self neglect. Sixth house reveals self-neglect. So, and self-neglect can be neglecting your health or being prioritized over your relationships and not over you. And so you're giving your energies too much away to other people, and it's causing you stress. And so that's probably a karmic knot you need to sort of shift out of in your energy field before you move forward here. So this new moon solar eclipse that's happening in your 12th house is going to trigger some sort of karmic closure. So that can really be a painful eclipse. Again, the 12th and 6th house axes are not easy, but they purify us and they shift us and they grow us spiritually. You liberate yourself in this eclipse spiritually. You feel liberated from this weight of a burden of this, some sort of subconscious um, issue that's causing some kind of problems in your sixth house, like an addiction or self-sabotaging or not taking care of yourself, neglecting yourself. So anyway, some old habits and fears, some old fears are going to show up here. It's going to be hard to determine which is which in these two eclipses. So this is kind of a tough eclipse for Libra, but you're going to see the light around these fears, and it's when they show up that you can purge them, and then you'll be done with this for once and for all. You're going to be a completely transformed person. Sixth and 12th house eclipses, they refresh you. That's Virgo. It's like you purify. You become a new person. So, so basically, it's urging you to release these inner burdens that you've been carrying for a long time that are now ready. You remember this eclipse happened again in 2006. So there's a connection to that eclipse. And so you're basically ending that lesson or that eclipse that happened in 2006 was a stepping stone to where we are going to be now, where you now get into potentially a relationship or because you've got that Saturn in retrograde in your seventh, but you might really be ready now to step into some sort of higher service project. Sixth house, that's your project. Now in your 12th house, it could be very dharmic. It's Pisces. It could be your spiritual calling. It could involve travel. This eclipse in the 21st, you suddenly travel. Um, So, so basically what does leave your life now is making room and space for your soul's freedom. That's what the moksha house, the sixth house, is about: liberating your soul and feeling free. And, all kinds of new things can happen there in that new moon in your 12th house. You could have basically a new service in a retreat, travel, being of service in travel, finding a way to be of service through travel. Or you just go into solitude and really work on a project, and you become very focused for a while in that 12th house. I've done that before in a 12th house eclipse. I became very focused on a project in solitude. So you could go into the nature for a while and retreat and soul reflect. But it is Virgo, so you are purifying. You are looking for a new day-to-day lifestyle that is more conducive to your health and your well-being and your calm and your center, finding your center. This is about finding your center, your soul again, hearing yourself. So, but anyway, these are new beginnings though. So it's kind of a broad range when you look at new beginnings in the 12th house, but they're kind of new beginnings from a healed and purified version of yourself. And I really do think it represents stepping more into a high service role and orienting your life from now on from a motivation of service because you've healed some sort of self-destructive pattern. So anyway, foreign travel, spiritual retreats, therapy sessions, your soul is seeking silence from all that busyness in that sixth house eclipse that happened. And you're really ready to surrender and let your mind rest. So what you lose now in this eclipse, in the 12th house, you gain. What you lose externally, you gain inwardly tenfold. All right, Libra, have a one. Oh, I just want to add that Venus is going to be in Leo most of the month, which does hit your 11th house. So you might be meeting a lot of people and having, oh, well, that kind of contradicts that solitude thing, but that's at the end of the month. So there might be a week or two where you are really meeting a lot of people, and you could really have a relationship, meet somebody there, in that 11th house, out socializing, interacting with people, or on social media. Then we're going to have Mercury is going to move into your 12th house right now, actually. So you're already in a retreat mode, probably reading or studying or just being antisocial, which is fine for you right now. So, all right, Libra, if you would like a personal reading, feel free to contact me. My email is MadelaineParker111 @gmail.com. And I actually send out a monthly email astro report. So do email me if you want to be on that list. And if you want a reading, book on my website, soullevels.com, or email me, whatever you like. All right. Have a wonderful night. Namaste.